Awesome. Happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. I'm going to kick us off with some quick announcements after we kick off with what we did last week, which is celebration. So before I do our announcements, I want to hear from you. What, since last Monday, are you celebrating, whether it's in your journey, whether it's in your business, maybe it's in somebody else's journey or business that you want to give them public recognition? Go ahead and unmute yourself and celebrate and share with us what you got.
I can start. I'm sorry if it's loud. John has an obsession with the dishwasher.
All right, I'll stop.
I'm celebrating that I've been really consistent with guided power hours, especially on the weekends. And then I also want to give a shout out to Beth, who is a coach under me. She opened her own meditation studio, and she does have plans to incorporate providing her customers with a total solution, including Shakeology and all of our workouts, along with her own meditation. So I think that's just so awesome.
Mine is this, because I'm going to be speaking. So this is my celebration.
I can go. I worked out for the first time post Hawaii travel, post sickness, post Park City travel. So I was finally able to work out today, and it felt really good.
I also have to celebrate Haley because last week she got on Power Hour with me and Andrea on Tuesday, and she sent 50 invites.
Okay, y'all know me. I sit here waiting and waiting for people to say something, so I'm not first. So thank you, ladies, who bit the bullet and win. I appreciate that. I'm celebrating the fact that we went away this weekend and celebrated one of my younger brother's birthdays in Calistoga. For those of you that don't know, that's right almost smack dab in the middle of wine country. And there was zero restriction, but I was mindful. I enjoyed anything and everything that I consumed, whether I was eating it, drinking it. I nailed my water goal, walked more miles in those 65 to 72 hours than I don't remember how long. And I'm proud of myself for being mindful and enjoying every flippant second and realizing, I mean, I've known it was possible, but it was really possible. And I enjoyed every second of it.
Okay, I'm gonna take the silence as we're done. But remember, every Monday, not everybody has to celebrate something every Monday, but come to Mondays ready to celebrate. Like, make it your goal that by next week, you're gonna be like, I freaking hit Success Club in the last week of the month. Boom. I'm so proud of myself, right? Or I'm really proud of this person in my downline because they did this week, but you were the person that helped them do that thing, right? Because you mentored them or supported them or encouraged them or believed in them. So we've been reading The High Five Habit, and one of the big things that we've been realizing is celebrating. You don't have to have something grand, right? But we should be focusing in on things that we can celebrate often. So back to my announcements. 1 week left of the month. Actually, I'll celebrate and I'll go into my announcements because it kind of goes into that. So my celebration is for Leah and Kristen. They both got their invites today for the Success Club trip. And they both registered for the Success Club trip for 2023. And so I'm super excited for them. And I'm also saying this as a reminder, now I can segue into my announcements. This is a reminder that number one, you have to opt in on the leaderboard on the website. Your opt-in does not cost anything. It is free to opt in. You don't have to pay. Like, there's literally nothing required of you. but you do get the invite if you opt in, or you have the ability to get the invite if you opt in. So number one, make sure you opt in. Drop in the chat who's opted in, who has opted in, who has opted in. Oh, look at this list. I'm so excited for you guys. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. So opted in, when you get your invite, make sure you let us know. I want to know when they come down the leaderboard to you. And you should probably start being able to see where you are on the leaderboard if you're on, I think it's like the first 5,000 they show or something crazy like that. I don't know, but you can see if you're in that mix. So Success Club trip starting, registration just started. It's the Sandwave that I'm going to be on. Kristen and Leah also signed up for the Sandwave. Grace says hi. And my last announcement before Annie takes over is that there's 1 week left of the month. So remember last week when we talked about that Success Club trip, and I told you that you don't need to know anything about it other than you can't go on that trip if you're not hitting Success Club. And some of you need a little tough love today. Annie's like the softest thing. She's going to be so amazing today. And Annie is like, you're going to leave here feeling so good about yourself. I'm going to give you a real punch in the gut real quick. I'm going to kick your dog for you. If you're not at Success Club, let's freaking go. It's 3 people. Stop overcomplicating it. Send the invites. Stop assuming people are going to show up in your inbox. Be like on your journey and in your journey, and be somebody that other people want to reach out to when they need help. Right? So all those things combined, there's not a reason that you cannot hit Success Club unless you're standing in your own way or letting fear drive the bus. Yeah. So let this be the week that you take massive action, because the only way to stop the fear is to take action that will smush it to the ground. Yeah. So do the dang thing. I've given you so many resources on the collab for that. Just follow those power hours like all week long on repeat, right? And adjust them to sound like you and whatnot. But you guys, you've got this. I've seen people in literally the final hours of the month go from 0 to hero. So don't count yourself out with 1 full week left. And what you do this week is going to be the ripple and trickle over into February anyway. So this week is when I go hard anyway, because I want my February to start off real strong, right? Love it, love it, love it. All right, I'm going to get out of the way. We've got a call tonight that's going to be so stinking good, because I know if you're anything like me, if you've been in this business or just living and breathing longer than a day, I'm sure you've gotten stuck at some point in your life. So Annie tonight has a word for us all about getting stuck, common places we all get stuck, and maybe what to do about it. So Annie, I'm going to mute myself. You take it away, sis.
All right, let's see if I can share my screen. This share. Okay, can you see that? Okay, let me see if I can put it in present. Okay, good. Can we see it? Okay, cool. So like Britt said, I'm going to talk about common sticking points that coaches experience and how we can go through them and grow through them instead of letting them keep us stuck and making us give up. Oh, okay. Okay, so I want you to think for a second. I want you to think back to times that you've been stuck in your business. If you've been around a long time, you probably have a long list. If you are new, it probably has something to do with inviting. But I want you to think about your biggest sticking points in coaching, and I want you to drop them in the chat. So once you think, it can be more than one. I don't know how to get to the chat now.
Since you're in presentation mode, you'll have to escape so you can find it.
Okay. Navigating conversations, getting challengers to stay, inviting, building consistency in my own journey, inviting, investing in people, and then they quit and leave, following up, inviting them and getting them to stay, rank advancements and growth, building relationships. Okay, cool. So I see a lot of getting them to stay, a lot of getting people in the first place and having people join you, and goals, rank advancement, growth. So hold on, let me share again. those are all, I don't want to say good sticking points because sticking points aren't necessarily good, but those are all sticking points that all coaches go through. Even the top coach in the business has gone through those sticking points and probably goes through those sticking points at least once a week. So we're going to outline 4 common sticking points that all coaches experience. And I can say that they all experience this because when I went to Super Saturday a couple weeks ago, Carl talked about all of these, and Julie Voris talked about all of these. And Julie is a 12-time elite coach and like literally started with the business. And a whole panel of superstar diamond coaches talked about these sticking points in one way or another. So it's not just coaches who are pushing for diamond or coaches who are pushing for team builder. It's all coaches in the network that have similar struggles and similar sticking points. So the first one that we're going to talk about is unmet expectations, and that includes unmet expectations in people, with your goals, with your ranks. And then the second one will be apologizing. And if you are reading the High Five Habit with us, we talked about some of this on Saturday about apologizing and the guilt. So that'll tie in with this. Then we're going to talk about time management and wasted time, and then our perceived lack of knowledge. So one more time, I want you to drop in the chat, out of those 4, unmet expectations, apologizing, time management, and perceived lack of knowledge, which one do you think that you resonate with the most before we dive into them? I probably should have left that up. Unmet expectations, apologizing, time, and perceived lack of knowledge. Okay, cool. Lots of unmet expectations, and then we're across the board with apologizing, perceived lack of knowledge. Okay, sweet. Now I'm gonna go back to share. Okay. All right, so let's start with unmet expectations. The first unmet expectation I want to talk about is people. A lot of us put in the chat that we can't make them stay, or people leave, or whatever it may be. Coaches are going to quit on you. Lifer coaches, coaches for life, are extremely rare. So you have to expect that not every coach that you sign up is going to stay with you for life, because that's extremely rare and it's a blessing. But that doesn't mean you don't have a team. Just because you have coaches, like a revolving door of some coaches, doesn't mean that you don't have a team, and doesn't mean that you aren't building a team. Customers aren't going to follow through on the goals that they made with you. They're going to say, okay, I'm committing to this. I'm going to buy the total solution pack. They get in the bod group, they post one time, and the goal is out the window. A lot of people have probably already given up on their New Year's resolutions at this point. That's just, it's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that you're not changing lives. Just because the total solution pack sits in their closet unopened, or they only log once in the bod group and they leave, does not mean that you didn't have an impact on their life. Share carts are going to be left unseen. People are going to say they're super duper excited. Here's my email. I want this. I want cookies and creamy. I want job one, whatever. And they're never going to open the share cart. You're going to be waiting for them to open it. You're going to be checking all the time where it is. Did they look at it? Did they purchase? And they're not going to always follow through. But the good news about all of those things, so coaches quitting, customers not following through, share carts being left, people stop responding, is that's part of building. Oftentimes we're going to, like, I've heard a lot of coaches who either lost an upline or lost their success partner, whatever it is, say that they have to rebuild. They had so many coaches that they have to rebuild. And it's a common phrase and it makes sense, but all of those things are part of building. They're not just rebuilding. Even if you have a team of, even if you're 2-star diamond, you've got a diamond on each leg and you feel confident in it, they're pushing, and both diamonds leave. You're not rebuilding. You are just in the process of building a team that's going to last. It's not your job to make these people show up. It's not your job to make coaches show up. It's not your job to make customers show up. They show up because of the example that you set of the expectations you have. If you want your coaches and your customers and prospective clients, if you want them to meet your expectations, you have to be the example of those expectations. You can't expect them to hop on team call if you're not hopping on team call or telling us about how you watch the recording. You can't make them, I don't know, talk in your pod or on your team page or whatever it may be if you're not doing it, because you're the one that's setting the expectations for them. So they can't meet them if they don't see the example of them. Okay, so that's on people. You're not rebuilding. There's never a time where you're going to be like, I have to rebuild. And right now I'm thinking about Leia. Leia hit diamond and then left for a while. And then she started not diamond anymore. She started without many people under her because she had left, but she wasn't rebuilding to diamond. She was continuing to build a team. So even if something happens, or I don't know, this person goes inactive and stops answering you, or this person drops to PC and you really needed them for this, whatever it may be, you're building, you're not rebuilding. So that's on people. Unmet expectations with goals. This is a huge one, especially for me, because I like a calendar. I like a to-do list. I like to check things off, and I like due dates. Maybe it's the type A teacher in me. I don't know, but if I have a deadline, I have to meet that deadline. So what happens if you don't reach your goal on that day? Okay. For instance, last year when I was working towards diamond in my business center, I had a goal that was at the beginning of the summer. I think it was for the summit cutoff, and I didn't hit it. I had the date that I needed to hit it for the summit cutoff, and I didn't hit it. But that doesn't mean that's not a goal anymore. That doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you fell off the wagon. It doesn't mean that you are not successful. The fact, as long as you're continuing to work towards that goal after that deadline wasn't met, you're still successful. You're still showing drive. You're still showing that you want it if you're continuing to reach it. And 2 weeks after my goal date for diamond last year, I hit it. And it wasn't any less significant to me when I hit it 2 weeks later, because I knew I had put in the work to get there. So if you have a date on the calendar right now of what you want to reach, a rank, a goal, an income goal, a success club number, if you don't reach it by that day, so what? Find another date. There's infinite amount of dates on the calendar moving forward. You don't have to stay in that one box. Last thing I'm going to say about unmet expectations, and I learned this from a professor in grad school who was teaching us about behavior management in the classroom. And she put Q-tips on our seat at our seats when we walked in one day, and she said, Q-tip it, quit taking it personally. Coaches are not quitting because they don't like you. Customers are not quitting because you're not doing your job. People are not completing the share cart because you set it up wrong. You cannot take it personally when others are not willing to work towards their goals. Because if you got them there, you're working towards your goals. Okay, that's unmet expectations. Q-tip it. Okay. The second big sticking point is apologizing. And if you are a big old people pleaser like me, you apologize a lot because you don't want anyone to be offended or you don't want anyone to be upset with you. You want everyone to like you. Type 2 Enneagrams. Yep, that's me. I think the biggest thing we ever apologize for in Beachbody is talking about the business. We feel guilty or we feel afraid or we feel like it's not our place to talk about that on our social media. And I can guarantee that if you got on Instagram right now and you went to any one of our stories or pages, you would see a workout clip or you would see a meal. You might see a call to action. You might see something we learned in PD. We're so good at that. We're so good at that. I see it from all of you every day, at least one of those things. But if you want people to coach, you have to tell them about coaching. So we're great. We're great with the other stuff. We're great about sharing what we do on our own journey. But if you want a team is coaches. A team is people who have the same interests and goals as you. And you're not going to have a team of coaches if you can't talk about coaching. So stop apologizing. I don't apologize for posting about a lesson I did that day at school. People know I'm a teacher. People know they could ask me things about teaching. So in the same way, we should be comfortable enough to talk about the business aspect of this, especially if you want a team, if you want a certain income, if you want a certain rank, whatever it may be, you have to talk about it unapologetically in order for people to join you. If you apologize about talking about the business, no one's going to want to be a part of that business. They're going to think that it's something you're ashamed by or you're embarrassed by or whatever, because you were apologizing for talking about it. The next thing, this is probably the thing that I was most passionate about listening to Carl and a couple of the coaches at Super Saturday, is apologizing for your goals, specifically financial goals. I bet I could have you each drop a goal that you made at the start of the year, at the end of last year, for what you wanted to do for this year. And you probably had a rank. You probably had a certain month of Success Club. You probably had helping this many people. But I can almost guarantee that very few of us, if not none of us, wrote a financial goal for this year and wrote down what we wanted to earn this year. It's a business. It's a business. If you want to work the business, you have to be okay with helping people and also making money. Doctors help people every day to make money. Teachers help people every day to make money. Police officers help people every day to make money. So it's okay that you're not just doing this business completely selflessly for the sake of helping people. Yes, we're all passionate about helping people or we would stay in it, but it's okay to want to help them and also earn an income from it. If you want a 6-figure business or if you want a 5-figure business, you have to have that mindset. You would never walk into an interview and not ask at all what the salary is. You would never take a promotion not knowing if there was a financial incentive for it. So we can't expect to move forward if we're not aware of everything that it involves. So make financial goals. It's okay if your financial goal is just extra $100 a month so you can go to the spa one day. You can get a massage and get your nails done. It's also okay if you want your goal to be higher than the paycheck you're getting at your 9 to 5. It doesn't matter what your financial goal is, as long as you have one. Because if you don't have one, your willingness to help people is not going to show up every day. Okay. I don't wake up every morning and say, I just really want to help people today, especially going in the classroom. I don't want to help them every day, but it's my job. And I have other goals attached to it in addition to wanting to serve and love people. The last thing we apologize about a lot is for dreaming big. And I want you to think about if you've ever been told or you've told someone else that they can go after any goal they want to. They can be anything they want to. Maybe you've told your kids that. Maybe when they were younger, or even now, they want to change jobs or whatever, and you've told them you can be anything you want to if you set your mind to it. You can't tell them that if you aren't. If you are trying to tell, I'm not a mom, but I feel like if I were to try and tell my kid that they could be anything they wanted to, and I wanted them to chase their dreams, and I wasn't doing that, I would feel guilty. I would not feel like they would actually believe me because they don't see the person they look up to actually doing that. And in that sense, I think it's important to show your big dreams and your big goals. We talk about it all the time, like, okay, take that goal, double it. That's what you should shoot for this year. Or tell me a puke goal. What goal do you have right now? What dream do you have right now that makes you want to puke? What on your vision board is not a tomorrow goal, but is a 10 years down the road goal that you are dreaming about? And how are you going to work towards it? I also put in there, nobody gets out of bed to hit Success Club. My goal each morning, when I wake up, it doesn't come to my mind, I want to hit Success Club. I want to hit Success Club. That is not the first thought in my mind every day. I get out of bed and I think about how I'm going to change my life. Okay, I want to be in this business to change my life and to change the lives of others. I don't wake up and say, Success Club, that's what I need. That is my dream, is Success Club. No, I think big, I dream big. Success Club is part of that. My financial goal is part of that. My rank goal is part of that. So my biggest suggestion to you is, if you feel like you can't share those big dreams with your spouse, your mom, your siblings, share it with us. Lean in. If you are afraid of your big dream or you are apologizing for it, find somebody who you don't have to apologize to, which is us. That's why we're here. That's why we make vision boards, and that's why we talk about goals every quarter, and that's why we push each other to make bigger goals and tell each other, Emerald, by the end of the year, you can be Emerald tonight, okay? You need people that will push you instead of making you feel guilty for wanting to be on top. Okay, the third place we get stuck is time. And we tell customers, coaches, prospective clients that they can't have the excuse of time. Raise your hand if someone has ever told you they don't have enough time to join you. Okay. All the time and money, all the time. And we tell them, you only have to have 30 minutes. You only need 20 minutes a day. These workouts are 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It's important to make time for yourself. But we use the same excuse every single day for working our business. And I think that's true of people who are full-time coaches, and it's true of people who have a 9 to 5 as well. We often confuse being busy. Maybe we have our materials in front of us. We have a tracker. We've got whatever happening on the screen. We're doing a guided power hour. We confuse that with actually being productive and working the business. It's not about how much time you spend on the business. It's about what you do with that time. So think about your day and think about wasted minutes. Okay. Think about how many minutes you stay in bed before you get up. Think about how many minutes you stay in the bathroom a little bit longer so that you don't have to face your kids, or if you're a teacher, you just want to be able to go to the bathroom. Okay, think about how much extra time you spend looking in the mirror and trying to fix yourself and trying to adjust every little thing that could be used somewhere else. Complimenting someone on Instagram instead of trying to fix every little thing about you. Think of all the wasted minutes you have throughout the day. And I can almost guarantee that's going to add up to at least 30 minutes to an hour of your day that you could have been productive elsewhere. When I was at Super Saturday, there was a panel of 4 Superstar Diamond coaches. And one of them is a full-time coach. And she said, oftentimes she is jealous of the people who have 9 to 5s and are working the business, because she's at home all day, if let's say she wants to work a 40-hour week on her business, she's got 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And that's a long time to have your nose to the grindstone working. She said she's jealous of the people who have a 9 to 5 with families to feed, and they have 1 hour in their day to hustle, because she knows that they are going to use that hour to be productive and not busy. And it's just like when Britt tells us to make sure that we're following the slides in a power hour, because the second you get off course, that is the second you start wasting minutes. So don't confuse being busy with being productive, and don't focus on how much time you're spending on the business. Focus on how much time or what you do with that time. Okay, I can have 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at lunch, 20 minutes after school. That's a full hour. And if I'm actually following the tracker and checking the boxes and doing what I need to do, that might be enough for me to hit Success Club in a week, SC5 by the 5th, if I'm actually using that time and not wasting minutes. Okay, on to the last place we get stuck is the perceived lack of knowledge. Now on the slide, I just put lack of knowledge because that's what we're afraid of, but it's all your perception. Okay, so I want you to think about if you have the community, the team, the whatever that you envision. Okay, maybe I just lost my train of thought. I want you to think about if you have what you want in this business. And if you don't, figure it out. Make it, create what you crave and build it. Okay. The first Beachbody coach didn't have an upline. They were the upline. and they figured it out. They weren't blessed with this web of leaders above them. They had to jump in and figure it out. You don't know how to build a team until you build a team. Just like you didn't know how to be a student in school until you walked into school and did it. You became a student. You didn't know how to interview for a job until you walked into your first interview and did it. If you're a mom, you didn't know how to be a mom until you took home that baby and did it. You didn't know how to do your job until you walked in on your first day and you learned throughout the first few weeks and got into a rhythm. So you're not going to know how to build a team because you haven't done it yet. You're not going to know how to build a bigger team because you haven't done it yet. You learn as you go, just like everything else that you've done since you were a baby. Lastly, you know more than you think. You did not become a coach to be an expert in fitness and nutrition. If you did, awesome. Get those certifications, get that license. I would love to learn from you. But most people don't become a coach if they want to be a fitness expert or a personal trainer or a dietitian. You became a coach because you found or you were given the resources to know about nutrition and fitness and to change your habits. And you want to lead other people to those experts that taught you. You don't have to be an expert in it. Otherwise, there would be no need for super trainers. There would be no need for 2B mindset. There would be no need for portion fix, because I don't know about you, I can't come up with those things. I can't make a workout for you. I can't tell you how many containers to eat without Autumn's knowledge. So it's not your job to be an expert. It's your job to lead people to the experts so that their lives can change like yours did. You know how to press play. Okay. You know where to find your workouts. You know how to press play on them. You know where to find the materials to work on your nutrition. You know where to find the recipes. You know where to find trainings that you need to know more about. YouTube, Google, Beachbody Champions page, National Wake Up Call. You know where to find it all. You know what to do. You have the business activity tracker. You're given a checklist for this business. You're given boxes to literally check off what you need to do each day. You have teammates. You have FAQs. You know what to do, but you forget how wildly capable you are of actually doing it. So none of us can use the excuse, I don't know how to be a coach. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. You're not going to know how to do it until you actually do it, and you know where to find everything you need to do it. If you don't know where to start, here's your checklist, silver platter. Here's your checklist. Check the boxes. It tells you what to do. Don't know how to invite? Well, we've got tons of PDFs and past trainings and trainings on YouTube and other things, resources that Britt has given us, that other coaches have given us, that tell us how, that give us a structure, that give us a system. You have everything you need, but you forget that you can actually do it. Lastly, what I want to close out with is, this is something Carl said. Carl was like on fire, and so he really lit a fire in me. But he said, you will never hear a champion say, well, that was easy. You are never going to hear an Olympic athlete stand on the podium and say, that was easy. You're never going to hear the CEO of a company say, well, that was easy. Because it's not. Everything is hard. Everything has its own hard. You have to choose what hard you're willing to go after. Everything is work. Is this the work that you want? if yes, you're choosing a steep hill. It's a steep hill to climb, but there are people who have made it to the top. There are people who have climbed the whole way up. So you know it's 100% doable and 100% worth it. If you zoned out that entire time and get nothing else from me and write nothing else down, please write this down. You're going to experience places you get stuck. You're going to get stuck in quicksand. You're going to get stuck in mud. You're going to get stuck for a day, or you might get stuck for a month. You have to decide, are you going to navigate through those sticking points, or are you going to let them defeat you? You can trudge through the mud, or you can sink in the mud. You have to decide which one you're going to do. And on that note, I'm going to read the chat.
Annie, I've got so many notes. I've got so many things swirling in my head. Whew. I'm like sweating from that. It's so good.
I'm sweating too.
Sweating with you. It's so good. You guys, the thing that I keep thinking about, like, as she was saying, with, especially with the lack of knowledge and like apologizing, you said that nobody gets out of bed to hit SC. We do it to change our lives. And I'm thinking about, like, you know, ultimately we're in a growth business. We're not in the business of selling shakes and selling, you know, workout DVDs. Like, we're actually in a growth business, and the journey starts with us. And that's, to me, a lot of the separator when we talk about being stuck is, are you willing to grow? Like she said, grow through it. Or are you allowing this to be the thing that takes you down? And this business tends to be a good, hard look in the mirror on a cold winter's day. And not everybody wants to do that. And what I know about you, though, if you're on this call right now, is that you have been looking in the mirror. You are capable of looking in the mirror. And I'm sure that 1 to 4 of these areas stood out to you as like, wow, that might be the thing that I'm allowing to get in my way. And once you have awareness of that, man, that's everything. So I love that. Like, what I'm seeing is, like, we have the tools. That's the best part, you guys. Like, somebody who's not, and I don't even mean like not on this call. When I say not on this call, I mean like somebody who's following you, who hasn't even like thought to start their journey. They don't have the tools for how to get out of ruts. We do. You press play, drink your water, eat some proper food, get around community. Like, we have the tools, and it's so silly to me that oftentimes we're the ones to not use them, right? When we know we're struggling. So good, Annie. Does anybody have questions for Annie?
No questions, but I can tell you right here, right now, I need to watch that every week. I need to make time for you to light a fire, for you to remind us. I mean, Annie, I can't even tell you. I should have kept a tally mark for how many gut checks you gave me in that 40 minutes, because they are things, and Britt says this all the time. We can say something to somebody until we're blue in the face, just like with our children. And Susie Q mom over here next door says it one time, and they're like, oh my gosh, did you know that blah, 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 blah. And wow, that's all I'm going to say. You may be sweating, but my heart is racing so much for you. I can barely even read my notes. I need to watch this way more than once. Thank you for truly all the time and heart that you poured into this to share with us. It is beyond appreciated.
Don't go thinking that I'm not giving myself gut checks. I think each one of those is a gut check for me too.
But I did that when I was talking to all of y'all 2 weeks ago. And I think that's what's important, is that we aren't on a pedestal. We are right next to each other. And we are learning and running and clawing and crying and cheering and doing the damn thing together. And that's huge. Not a lot of companies can say that.
I love seeing that epiphany and that aha that's happening with our leaders taking the mic. One of my goals last year, you guys, was to have other people on other teams come in and speak to our team more often than you hearing me, because I know that I sound like the Peanuts teacher very often to you, if you're familiar. If you're not, go look it up. But I'm sure that that's how I sound even right now. And my goal this year is to bring more of you guys on these calls, because I think, you know, when I've sat down with Leah and when I sat down with Annie in preparation for these calls, oh, 100%. I hope you mean that. I should no longer be speaking on these calls because you guys are having breakthroughs from hearing you guys speak. And I know you're having breakthroughs speaking is what I'm trying to say. Like the work that Annie and Leah have put into this, and I know so many more of you guys will be putting in throughout the year. When I sat down with both of them, the first question that I kind of alluded to and asked was, how have you experienced this for yourself? So when you hear them speak on these calls, absolutely, they're talking to you from the trenches. You wouldn't be able to. And as a teacher, my students that were very advanced, what did I have them do? I just let them sit for the rest of the class and do nothing. No, I had them go teach the other students, right? Because that's another level of advanced mastery, is can you actually take what you've learned in your experience and can execute on, can you actually go teach other people how to execute it too? And I think Annie and I think Leah so far this year is off to a stinking amazing start. You guys, I got some guest speakers coming. I hope you're ready. And I hope you tell your friends to get on these calls because this is some fire y'all are spitting. I may or may not have some spin instructors from our Body Live studio coming on to speak to you guys in the coming months. Maybe, I don't know, like 3 of my favorites I've reached out to and I've agreed. So y'all, these are good. Thank you for joining us tonight. Is there anything else that anyone needs to say? Annie, do you want to say anything else to wrap us up?
Navigate. Don't stop. That was a lot less eloquent than the first time I said it.
When we were figuring out the title of this, we said that we wanted to say that all coaches navigate, and then we're like, no, we're not going to say all coaches navigate because not all coaches navigate it. A lot of sticking points coaches experience and then choose to fizzle out. Let that be the thing that makes them stop. And so we said, nope, we can't call it navigate because only some people choose to navigate it. So be the one that chooses to navigate it. Yeah, guys. I love this, Annie. This is going to be on my heart and on my mind all week long. I'm going to be thinking about these 4 things: unmet expectations, apologizing, especially you guys for the business, right? Time management and not, oh, that's such a gut check, not telling our people to not use time as an excuse, but then use it for myself. And then everything is figure outable. So every new level is going to bring something new that I got to learn. All right, guys, I'm hitting stop on the recording.